A lot of people I know are using AI in the dumbest way possible. They're wasting money left and right. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're focused on. They don't know how to use it to build a business. So today, let's talk about how AI fits into marketing, what you can automate, what you can't automate, and how you can really add this into your business here today to make more money, and save time. So listen, when it comes to marketing, there's two things that you need to understand: a product or a service. We know this already. In business, there's only two things. There's only ever going to be two things: a product, a service. Now, what you might not know is there's only three ways that you can sell a product or a service. Here on the screen, we've got a presenter, a connector, and a merchant. The presenter is someone who presents one to many, like you're on stage, you're on a video, on a webinar, whatever else it is. The presenter speaks to a group of people and either tries to sell them right then and there or book an appointment. Now, the second piece is the connector, the ones who actually do the one-on-one sales calls, the one-on-one appointments, whatever it is. You're the type of person or business where you need to sit down and explain things to people one-on-one. Say you're selling life insurance. You rarely sell that to a crowd. If you're going to someone's home to talk about, selling a house or a mortgage or title or anything along those lines, any professional service, for the most part, you're speaking one-to-one, and that's what a connector does. And then finally, there's a merchant, or what I like to call display. That's where you can put it up on a shelf or you can put it on an Amazon listing. It kind of sells itself. You don't need a presentation to sell a pack of gum. You don't need a one-on-one sales presentation to sell a t-shirt, right? It can go up on the wall, it can go on a shelf, and people either buy it or they don't buy it. Now, this is really important because if you needed to get business tomorrow, if you wanted to make sales, gun to your head, your kids are going to starve, you got to make something happen today, how would you do it? And that's when we take a look at this and we say, well, listen, you would just email all the people that you know, or call everybody that you know, or text message everybody that you know and say, hey, go book an appointment with me so I can sell you something. You probably say it a little bit more elegantly than that, right? But the truth is you'd send this email blast out, you'd send text, whatever it is, and they would go to your calendar, and hopefully some of those people would book an appointment and be able to sell them and feed your kids tomorrow, right? But the challenge comes in when you don't have a list. And this is what most business owners experience, don't they? They don't have an email list, a newsletter list. There's not a reason to collect the contact information of even people who've done business with them in the past. And that's a major issue in this year here, 2026, because when you look back at how things were done 10 years ago, 20 years ago, a lot of people just wrote it in a notebook. A lot of people looked in the yellow pages. I mean, at the end of the day, it was scattered all over the place. And I don't think as much has changed, because when you look at most business owners out there, they're super unorganized. They have a Google spreadsheet over here. They might have like HubSpot over here. They've got MailChimp over here. They've got a bunch of different places, but they don't really have a way to broadcast a message to all their potential customers, leads, prospects, clients, whatever it is. So what do you do then? If you don't have a list, how the hell are you going to email everybody when you don't even have their email, their contact information? Well, that's why we need to go back to social media, because here's where everyone is, right? Everyone hangs out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and all these places. So this is kind of now where the internet has gone. And, if you're kind of like me, you probably had one of the old GeoCities websites that you built with multiple frames. Man, I was so freaking proud of those frames. You know how hard it was to build frames on a website? Anyways, social media now, the internet is kind of congregated to like 8 or 9 different places, and it's all social media platforms. So if you needed to get a sale tomorrow, you needed a sales appointment to talk to somebody, to sell them something, and you didn't have an email list, you just post all over social media and say, hey, guys, please go book an appointment. My kids are going to starve. My cats are going to starve, whatever it is for you, right? Hey, go book a call. And then again, hopefully some of those people go to your calendar, go to the Zoom call and book an appointment. Here's the problem. Most people won't do what you want them to do. And this is the number one rule of marketing in general, is that most people won't do what you want them to do. That means if you post something on Facebook, here's the truth. Most of your friends, your family, your clients, customers, prospects, most people won't even see it. If they do see your post, they're not going to read it. If they do read it, they're not going to click on the link. If they do click on the link, they're not going to schedule a call. If they schedule a call, they're not going to show up. And if they show up, sometimes they're not even going to buy. So you just got to remember that, especially on the internet, most people won't do what you want them to do. So our marketing is always based on what we call contingency plans. Here's what I mean. So if someone says, we say, hey, look, I need a sales appointment. I got to make some sales. I got to sell my product. I got to sell my agency services, whatever it is, consulting services, whatever it is for you. I got to sell this thing. You post it on social media, and then most of those people fall off. You see the little guy, he's falling, wee. And then some of those people hit the calendar, and then when they hit the calendar, most people don't book and they fall down, wee, right? So how do you solve this? Well, what you got to do is you got to create these nets. You got to create these contingency plans that actually capture these people. So in the past, if you were really lucky, you would post something and people would just go book a call. But that just isn't how it is. And I don't know about you, I've had to work really hard at this stuff. It's not been that easy for me. I don't know if I'm less charismatic than the next person or whatever it is, but I've had to create these solid marketing contingency strategies and plans to make sure that people I capture, I have multiple chances to sell them something. So what do I mean? Well, in the past, you would just say, hey, go book a call. You'd send them to a calendar. But the problem is if they don't book right then and there, you lost them forever. That's why the opt-in was created. Hey, go enter your name and email here for this ethical bribe. And during this ethical bribe, I'll try to sell you on booking a call, doing an appointment, whatever it is. And that's one way that you can actually capture people's information so that you could have multiple chances to try to get them on the calendar. I hope that makes sense, because this is the piece of marketing that people just don't have, even in very large businesses. I'll give you an example here in a minute, but this is what I call the connector funnel. You've heard of funnels a million times. You know Russell Brunson. You know all these cool things like ClickFunnels and Go High Level and HubSpot and all this stuff. But what you really need to understand is these contingency plans are all built if someone doesn't do what you need them to do. Like if they click on your link but they don't opt in, how do you retarget them with ads? If they opt in but they don't book a sales call, how do you send them emails or follow-up sequences to try to get them and convince them to go? Every piece here is about creating some kind of follow-up sequence. Now, the title of this video or something about this video is about AI, right? And the question is, how do you use AI to make these funnels right? Well, first and foremost, you got to make sure the funnel actually exists. So if you're not using AI to build your websites, build your funnels, build your frameworks, build your wireframes, I suggest that you do that. And you can do that with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever you want. And there's a lot of great website builders these days, like Lovable and Manus and stuff like that. However, as of today, it is June 20-somethingth, right? And today, most things like Lovable and Manus or whatever will create beautiful websites, but they don't easily connect to things, which is why you need my software is called Scale and Success. You can use mine, or you can use ClickFunnels, or you can use Go High Level. You can use a bunch of different things, but I suggest that you bite the bullet and go build your websites and funnels inside of one of these all-in-one CRMs so that you can easily connect the emails. Because here's the thing, if someone clicks on a social media post, they should get responded to. Let's say someone comments below one of your Instagram posts, it should automatically respond. Your system, not you, your system, your AI chatbot, your AI voice bot, your AI response, whatever it is, that should respond to the person. Hey, I'm interested. Great. What would you like to know? How can I help you? What questions can I answer? Can I book an appointment with you? What's your name? What's your email? What's your phone number? That information needs to be collected automatically. And this is where AI is so freaking valuable, because if you don't have AI or automation in there, two things happen. Number one, the lead goes cold. Someone who is interested, they're doom scrolling in their bed at 2 a.m. and they comment on your thing because they're interested in changing their life or getting that product or buying that thing, whatever it was. And if you wait 12 or 24 hours to respond to them, they're gone. They're long gone. Research shows it's like 7 minutes you have to respond to these guys, which is why AI is so incredibly important, because the moment they comment, boom, they get a message. And this is what's really important. And it doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't matter if you're one-to-one or one-to-many or merchant on display. You've got a product on Amazon, whatever it is, they should get a link to that product. They should get a link to the book an appointment. They should get their questions answered instantaneously. Because we got to remember that most people don't wake up in the morning thinking about us. They're thinking about them, their problems, their challenges, their life. And even if they're interested in your product or service, they got a life to live. They got to go back to work. They got to pick up the kids from school. They got to feed the cats. They got a million things that they need to focus on. They're not thinking about you. So you got to respond instantaneously and not let that lead go cold. Number two, You can't rely on human beings to follow up because we are emotional creatures. I'd sit here and say, if I'm tooting my own horn, I'm pretty unemotional. I'm pretty focused. I'm pretty disciplined. I'm pretty rock solid. But there's days I don't want to follow up with people. There's days I don't want to message another person who seems like a tire kicker. So for you and I, we need to make sure that response is automated. So where does AI fit in this in the first place? Number one, it should be running your social media, especially your DMs and private messages. Now, on which social media platform? All of them. Why all of them? Because where do you think people look for your business? If they really want your products and services, do you think they find you on your favorite social media platform or their favorite social media platform? The answer is theirs, right? So if you hate TikTok, it doesn't matter. You need to be on TikTok. If you can't stand Instagram, doesn't matter. Your clients and customers are on Instagram. As of today, I think there's like 3 billion Facebook accounts. One of the biggest pet peeves I have with clients over the years is they're like, well, my clients aren't on Facebook. Yes, they are. There's 3 billion unique Facebook accounts. There's like 2 billion Instagram accounts. Your customers and clients, no matter who you are on these platforms, and you need to be there too. What's the next piece? The opt-in. And this is similar, right? So if you post something on Instagram about your product, about your service, to go book a call, to go watch a webinar, to whatever it is, now the first thing you need to do is try to capture their information. So you get many chances to sell them the next product or service, or maybe even just give them value and build a relationship with them. I don't want to sound totally like we're just like trying to scam everyone out of their money, because if you're in business and you've been in business for any amount of time, I know that you're already out there to try to help people, to try to create products and services that improve their lives. Like, I get it. I understand. So let's pass that for a moment. I mean, come on. Dude, I was the Tony Robbins guy for almost a decade. I am very much about love and caring and all this good stuff. But just for the business side, let's talk about how this business works. And in the marketing sense, you gotta be aggressive. So when they opt in, now your job is to get them a sequence that tries to get them to consume the sales pitch or the marketing pitch, whatever the pitch is. And if your pitch is go book a call, or your pitch is go watch this webinar, or your pitch is come live to this event, or go buy my product on Amazon, or buy my product on my Shopify store, whatever it is, you need an influential sequence to send people to the sales page. Now, again, where does AI fit in all this? Well, 2 places. Number one, if you don't got a great sales page, run your sales pages through Claude, run them through Cowork, run them through ChatGPT, whatever, and just get other opinions on how does this page look? What could be better? How's the copy? What could I do? And you make sure here that you're referencing the right types of people, because you don't want to just ask a generic question like, hey, ChatGPT, how can my website be better? No, you want to go back and say, hey, listen, the legends of copywriting, the people who sold products and services more than anybody else, like John Carlton and Chet Holmes and Gary Halbert and Robert Collier. I want you to reference these people. I want you to be like David Ogilvy. I want you to look at this website and tell me everything that would be improved, as long as you can go there and fix all that. And you can even have the AI design it, make it pretty and all that good stuff. You can do all those. But now the second piece is you can actually have some intelligent email campaigns. Now in the past, you would just have to like pre-write an email campaign, which is a great idea. Definitely start there. Like, hey, they opt in over the next 5 days. I want you to send these 5 emails. Well, cool. But now you can use some of these AI agents inside of your email to have an intelligent conversation with people. Not only can you send it at the right time so that people open it, number 2, if someone responds to those emails, it can start a conversation right there in email. It can collect their information. It can push them to the sale. It can answer the questions, whatever it is. So this is another piece where AI is going to dramatically take over, because what you want is your service should be automated. The marketing piece that comes in here, you want to make sure that these are actually having intelligent conversations with every single person. Because again, you as a human being, you can't keep up. I can't keep up, right? I'm busy. I've got, 6, 7 clients at any given time. I've got a bunch of people who sign up for my software now. So I'm working with those guys. I'm coaching those people. I'm teaching AI. I'm doing a bunch of different stuff. So I don't have time to go through every email and see if someone responded, and every Instagram message and see if someone responded. You and I, we have to automate that. No matter how much or how little responses you get, that's important. Now, the next piece comes into the follow-up, right? So what if they do book an appointment and you got to remind them? And you know what? I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone like book a plumbing appointment, or, I'm shopping around for new places. And what's funny is there's so many of these places that I looked at that don't even respond. We schedule an appointment and they don't send us a reminder. I'm out here just thinking like, hey, I'm going to spend a lot of money with you guys and you can't even bother to send me a reminder of when my appointment is and who's going to be there and what's going to happen. Well, that's the same thing that should happen with a plumber, an electrician, or a dentist, or a chiropractor, whatever it is. There should be reminders that get sent out here. That's what the follow-up sequence is. Now, let's say they book a call and they don't show up to the call. Well, you should send them a missed you sequence. You should try to recapture that. Now, you might sit here and be thinking, well, Stephen, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to just bother people. If they didn't show up to the call, maybe they didn't want to show up to the call. Well, no, that's not how the world is. Here's the truth. Most people won't do what you want them to do. And it's not because they hate you. It's not because they don't care. It's not because they didn't want the product or service, but life happens. And you got to be a little bit more empathetic with your customers, clients, potential leads, whatever you want to call them. Because if someone doesn't show up to the call, maybe they just forgot. Maybe the cat was puking on the rug. Maybe they got to pick up their kids from school because they're sick. Anything could have happened. It's so easy for you and I as business owners, salespeople, marketers to be like, well, no, Stephen, they just hate my guts and they never even, no, we make up all these weird scenarios in our head. So you should automate the missed you sequence to try to recapture that lead. Now, why is that important? Because here's the deal, guys. If you miss any of these pieces here, you wasted every bit of time, money, and energy it took to get that person in the first place. I know companies, I have a client right now, we spend about $2 million a month in advertising. I kind of manage their account for them. I manage their marketing for them. $2 million a month. Imagine if that's your money, you would treat every freaking lead like gold, right? It doesn't matter if there's 10,000, 1,000, 5,000, or 2. You would make sure everything that you could get out of those people, you would get it. And that's the same thing you got to do here, because as small business owners, you and I, we might not spend a whole bunch of money on advertising, but we do spend a lot of time creating content and writing things and pulling our hair out, trying to figure out what do I need to post on Instagram today and how do I do a YouTube video and all of these things. So you got to make sure that that missed you sequence is there. Now, the rest of these, and I'll go over this maybe in another video here, but one thing I want to point out is if you're having trouble in any of these areas, that's what these bottom 4 things are for. The application page is if you get a bunch of people on the call, but they're not qualified. So you should actually have them qualify to get on a phone call with you. I mentioned this before, but like the pest control company who's talking to someone who doesn't own a home. Well, the problem is they can't hire the pest control company if they don't own the home. They can't replace the roof if that's not the homeowner. If they're renting an apartment, right? They can't just hire the roofer to go fix the roof. That's not going to happen. That's not how that works. So they need to be qualified. And so you want to figure out what is it going to take to get them qualified. Number 2, if you're not getting enough people to say yes or to opt in to come here, we call them ethical bribes. And AI can help you to create ethical bribes, things like PDFs and documents and cheat sheets and audios and videos and webinars and all sorts of stuff that you could be giving people as an ethical bribe to get their information and turn them into a lead. And what's a lead? Well, listen, a lead is when they give you their contact information and permission to market to them. So what you're trying to create is as many bribes that would actually work, and you're trying to test as many as you can. Here's a free book. Here's a free webinar. Here's a free thing. Whatever it is, there's a million things. Here's our special reports. Here's our cheat sheet. Whatever it is, you need more bribes. The next piece is, let's say that your sales team is having a really hard time closing. And maybe it's just you. Maybe you're by yourself and you're talking to people and you're like, man, I'm really giving my best stuff and they're not buying. What's going on here? You might create a pre-sales page or a pre-indoctrination presentation, right? Where it's like a short video that says, hey, before you get on this call, before you come to this appointment, here's what you need to know. Here's our products. Here's our services. Here's where you want them. Here's who it's good for. By the way, look at all our testimonials. Look at all our stuff. The pre-sales page is brilliant. And the last one is the recap page. And this is usually when, you get off of the phone or an appointment with someone and they don't really know how to describe what just happened. Most people have this kind of, even if they don't purchase in the moment, they kind of have this buyer's remorse, meaning they go home to talk to their wife or their husband or their kids or their dog or their accountant or whatever it is, right? And they say, hey, you were going to spend money on this thing. Did you buy it? Well, no, not yet. Are you going to? Well, I don't know. Tell me what about it. Well, I don't really know what it is and I don't know what it's about and I'm just going to spend thousands of dollars on this thing. And they're going to say, well, clearly you shouldn't do that. They go like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't do that. That's why the recap page is important. And the recap basically just recaps the offer. What did you give them? What's the program? What's the life insurance policy? What's the real estate contract? Like, what is the thing? And be able to explain it in plain English so they can now articulate it to their friends, to their family, to anybody else that's important to them in their lives. So this is the first part. And again, where does AI fit into all this? Well, in every single piece of the way. If you understand what a funnel should do, you understand that I can use AI to help create social media content. I can use AI to help me create opt-in pages. I can use AI to help me create a better sales page, a better sequence. I can use these agents to have a smart sequence follow up with people in case they don't buy or in case they don't book or in case they don't show up. And then if that's not working well, I can go back and say, hey, let's create an application. Let's create extra bribes. Let's create a pre-sales page. Now, I know I've gone really fast here and I've gone a lot, but let me just briefly go over the next two here because you got the presenter and you got the merchant, right? Remember, one-to-one, one-to-many, and on display or merchant, right? The presenter now does things slightly differently and it's very similar, but you got to remember that you're not trying to sell one-on-one appointments. You could. And there's a lot of professional services who do a presentation in order to book calls, to book sales appointments. And that's totally possible too. However, if you're just doing like me, I do a lot of webinars where I get up there, I get people to register and I sell on the webinar. I teach them something cool. I educate them. I show them my offer. Here's what I got. Here's what it's going to do for you. Here's how to get it. So I get them, hey, go register on social media, whether paid or organic ads. Hey, go register for this webinar. It's happening this week. Let me tell you. And then that webinar, it's not a go schedule sequence. It's probably just, hey, don't forget this webinar is coming up. So this is probably needs to be redone here. But here's the sequence. Hey, go check out the webinar. Hey, webinars in 48 hours, 24 hours, 12 hours, 6 hours, 1 hour, 15 minutes to go. Come join the webinar. And whether or not they watch the webinar or don't watch the webinar, I say, hey, go watch the replay. Hey, go check it out. Did you miss anything? Here's the notes. Here's what you missed out on. Here's what's going on. By the way, we have this product for sale. We have this service for sale. Here's what it is. And the follow-up sequence adds in. Again, question. Where does AI fit into all of this? Well, one thing that I've said about webinars, or I've done recently, is I take my webinar transcripts and I upload them in a Claude or ChatGPT. And again, instead of going back like the sales copy geniuses, like we talked about the John Carltons and the Gary Halberts and stuff like that, I go to who are the best in the world at webinars? The Jason Fladlins, the Russell Brunsons. There's a bunch of really good people who are great at selling on webinar. And in that case, now I can upload my transcript and say, hey, what would these people say about this? They have books, they have blog articles, they have so much content online that your ChatGPT, your Claude, your Gemini can reference their material and look at that and give you pointers. It can also go back and watch your video in some places, depends on the software that you use, right? And it can say, hey, listen, you were a little awkward here, your tone was a little off here, or whatever it was. So now you can use AI to improve your presentations every single time. And you can do this by yourself with your AI. You don't have to go and present to your mom or your dad. You don't have to go present to your kids. You don't have to go present to other people. Like, I know how awkward that is, right? To practice your webinar pitch, to practice your stage pitch. I did over 5,000 presentations for Tony on stage in front of thousands of people and all this good stuff. And I still feel awkward talking to a room of like 3 people. Like, it's just really weird and creepy, right? So I use my transcripts. I go back, hey, what could have been better? What can I fix next time? How do I improve my script? How do I improve my presentation? How do I make it easier, better? How do I close more? All of those things can go in there. And then same thing about the sequences and the replay and all this good stuff, sales page. Now, same sort of situation here, right? One thing that I do in some of my webinars these days is I do a pre-application page. So before they even show up to the webinar, I'm asking them to fill out a survey to see if they're technically qualified or unqualified. That doesn't mean I kick them out of the webinar if they're not qualified, but I use that information to send Facebook back a pixel to say, hey, listen, these people are more qualified. Send me more of these people for my next webinar. That's another story for another day, but I might have different presentations. I might have other videos. I might have other things. Same thing with the pre-sales page. Hey, before you get on this webinar, here's our product, here's our service, here's what we're going to offer you, here's what's going to happen. And then at the end, it's like, here's the recap. Here's what you bought. Here's what you did. Last piece here, and then I'll let you go. The merchant is the Amazon store owner, the Shopify store owner, the e-commerce store owner. Now, you can't do all of this stuff if you only have Amazon. I've got a lot of friends who only do Amazon, and I tell them every day it's a big mistake because you need to have your own website, your own home on the sand. Like you got to draw your line in the sand. This is my territory. This is my thing. With Amazon, you don't control the contact. You don't control the details. You can't follow up with them. There's a lot of ways you can do that. We'll talk about that in another video, but same thing. Hey, go check out my new product. And on your Shopify store or on your website, you can now create a two-step sales page. What does that mean? A two-step order form where someone fills out their name, phone number, email before the credit card form is revealed. Why? Because 9 out of 10 people do not check out when they add something to cart. And if you don't capture their information, you don't get the chance to follow up with them. Now, I can't say this company's name out loud, but I'll tell you, they sold for $1 billion. They are an e-commerce brand in the beauty space. But one of my buddies did some consulting for them, and he realized that they, as $1 billion company, did not have an abandoned cart sequence. Meaning someone would add something to cart, they would leave, and nobody would ever talk to them. They wouldn't get an email. They wouldn't get a reminder. They wouldn't get a text message. They got nothing. And you got to remember that if 9 out of 10 people don't check out, that means you're missing 90% of your potential sales, 90% of the leads that you're paying for to come in to look at your products, look at your things, your t-shirts, your hats, your whatever, your pills and potions, doesn't matter what it is. But 9 out of 10 people are looking at this and leaving, but they added it to the cart. And that's why the abandoned cart, text messages, emails. And again, this can all be done intelligently with AI these days. Same thing with the sales page. What's the upsell? What do you want to buy more of? What do you want to buy else? What else goes with this? And then there's all these other sequences that you can do. And at the bottom here, I just added a couple more things, right? Like the coupon offers. Like, hey, if they abandon cart, they don't come back. Hey, by the way, it's been 3 days. It's been 72 hours. I'll give you one last chance. I'll give you a 25% discount just to kick them over the fence, right? To get them back in. And in some cases, that might be worth it. Now, the other piece is we have the bribe, the tripwire offers, right? Where it's like something that's so cheap and inexpensive that someone can buy it and it's like a no-brainer, right? And then you got review pages and stuff like that. Like how do you get the reviews and check out these different products and services? And then you got other platforms that you could be selling on too, like the Amazons, the Udemy's, the Etsy's, and all of these places. Now, if you don't know how to do any of this, the best part is AI can do it for you. AI can help you walk you through it. AI can help you create the steps. And I think just so many people are falling asleep on this idea that you can use AI to dramatically expand your business and change things overnight. If you just start implementing these things, if you don't know how to do something, that's no longer an excuse. Hey, I don't know how to start an Amazon store. Hey, ChatGPT. Hey, Claude, show me how to open an Amazon store. Hey, I got this product. Show me what to do. Tell me what to do. How do I sign up? How do I set up my listing? How do I do this? How do I make sure it gets found? Like you just start asking the right questions and you will start getting the right answers. So now listen, I know this is probably different from most of the AI videos that you might have watched here on YouTube, but a lot of people just don't understand that AI should be used for the basic stuff that's actually going to make you money, save you time. So with all that being said, I hope this was helpful. I mentioned this a couple times here today, but I do have Scale and Success. If you go to scaleandsuccess.com, it is a little software platform I created. It's a CRM, email campaign, all that good stuff. It's built on the high level platform, but it's just like super customized. So if you want me to do most of this stuff for you, go check out scaleandsuccess.com. I hope you found this helpful, and I would look forward to hearing from you and telling you like, hey, did you fix something in your funnel? Did anything change? Did you make more money because of this video? I'd love to hear it. So let me know. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.